Ooh, it's a delay. What's going on, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to our new episode of the DPI Takeover Show here on Total Praise Radio. I am your host, Miss Kayla here. So you guys know here at Total Praise Radio, we love to spotlight our different, whether they're business owners, whether they're entrepreneurs, our coaches, our authors, our publishers, our ministries, our organizations, anybody who has something going on, and on its faith based. And so this show will be no different here. I have a special guest with us today. I have Miss Vernica Williams joining us. Hello, Vernica. How are you?
Hi, how are you? It's amazing to be here. I'm excited.
Man, yes, yes. So, Vernica, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
So, it's a lot about me. So, I am a mother of two. I am a grandmother of two little ones. Some people will call me earthy. Other people may call me dramatic. Some people may call me um, just a huge thinker. Actually, my
Mhm.
children calls me strict but loving.
Mm.
So yeah, and profession, I'm a social worker. So what's interesting is, fun fact, I used to be a hairdresser
Mhm.
back in the day until like 2025. I transitioned over to human services. I got involved with working with the homeless population, with women and children. And yeah, I love going out in the park. I am kind of earthy, I guess. I love sitting under a tree and just being in the sunlight. I just love being quiet, you know. I'm a 51-year-old woman who just excited to just figure out what am I going to be doing the rest of my life. And yeah,
That's good. That's good. So you like being outside. I like being
yes,
outside to an extent. I don't like the bugs and
I know.
I get bitten and stuff. I be trying
I
to
know.
grass and by the trees and stuff, but then it just don't work out.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay, Renisa. So tell us why we here today. You have a ministry
Hmm.
that I want you to share with our audience. Tell us a little about your ministry.
So, my ministry is called Reclaiming Your Voice. And I always want to share how it all began because that is part of my testimony and how I even came to this space right here. So, 2 years ago, again, like I said, I love being in the park. And that's one of my spots that it's like my quiet time spot.
Mm-hmm.
And one day in the park, I was minding my business and I heard the Lord say very clearly, come out of your comfort zone. And that triggered a lot of things in me because I had a lot of insecurities,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I'm thinking, like, trying to play it off like, what you mean, like, what you saying? And he was like, get on camera. And I didn't understand that. I didn't know. All I knew was a lot of my insecurities that I've had since like 5 years old,
Mm-hmm.
first grade, came rushing to the front of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And those insecurities are the tone of my voice, how I talk. I may not use very good grammar at times. Sometimes I stutter. I just didn't like how I sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you want me to get on camera? I don't know, but I guess we'll just see what happens. And that began this journey also of me finding out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that God has said to me on this journey was, who are you? And I was like, man, you know, like I'm a Christian, and I came up with all these surface things and was like, no, like, who are you?
Yeah.
Who is the person that became a people pleaser? Who's the person that became a codependent who doesn't have many boundaries? Who is the woman that allowed people to take advantage of her? Who is that woman? Who is that woman that continuously in relationships is just passed all the red flags and got married to a man that I shouldn't have because God gave me all the signs, but I allowed a lot of things in my life. Who is the person that was molested at the age of 2 by her grandfather? Who
Mm.
are you? And I really had to begin to dig deep with that. And as time went on, on that journey, reclaiming your voice didn't show up until like about 2 years ago.
Mhm.
But by then, I was like, okay, get on camera. The main thing I knew was I was kind of already on social media. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll figure out this social media entrepreneurship thing. And I did. I changed my name, the name of my Instagram to Reclaiming Your, to, not at the time, it was a different name, but I'll get to that.
Mhm.
It was another name, but in the beginning, I started offering life coaching for people who were finished the treatment of substance abuse because that was part of my work before 2020 happened. Was I
Yeah.
was working with adults with substance abuse. I was like, I'm going to be a life coach to help them out in that transition. And I noticed like all this social media talk about this is how you do it. It wasn't working for me, but I just kept just posting things regarding that community. But then I began to notice I just started very organically saying, reclaiming your voice.
Mhm.
And a wonderful coach that I had at the time, she brought it to my attention. She was like, you need to look at your stuff because it's a theme here that you're not talking about. I'm like,
Yeah.
what? And I looked it up and I'm like, everything was reclaiming your voice. So 2 years ago for a birthday, because I always say the Lord give amazing birthday gifts, I
Mhm.
was waiting for my birthday gift and I heard podcasts.
Mhm.
So because I love podcasts anyway, I was like, oh my goodness, I was so excited. And I just started researching more. So I started a podcast 2 years ago. At the time, the name was Coaching Through with Vernica Williams, again, as a
Mhm.
spinoff to the coaching that I was thought I was going to be providing people. And again, reclaiming your voice just kept this coming out of me. And I changed it to reclaiming your voice because everything was that. And yeah, that's how I came about, and just with this more soul searching within myself, reclaiming your voice became this ministry to encourage
Mhm.
women with written, audio, and video encouragement for those women who basically share the same story as I, being a
Yeah.
people pleaser and emotional abuse. To help you to encourage the women out there, how can you reclaim your voice? Not only for yourself initially, but also in God. How can you reclaim in your voice? How can it bring you closer to the Lord? How would it allow you to bring Him into your life? How can it cause you to step from only knowing Him as Savior to
Mhm.
actually getting to know Him with deep relationship as Lord? And that's part of the journey that I just show people, just the real hard work of what it looks like to not only just reclaiming your voice, meaning
Mhm.
going deep into what are those things that are stopping you. Why are you shrinking when you're around people? Why
Yeah.
do you not like your voice? Because I get that a lot of women say, I don't like my voice, I don't like how I sound, and it causes me to shrink. I struggle with validating myself or being validated from people. I seek that because I can't stand flat-footed on my own. And
Mm.
this is women who love the Lord. I'm like, something is missing,
Yeah.
and it was the thing that was missing with me. So going through this journey and this experiencing the Lord in a different way, I really feel called to encourage other women to do the same.
So what was that missing thing? Was God the missing thing? Was it love? What was it?
The missing thing, I believe, was, and it was a part of some other layers that God had to deal with me with, is a
Yeah.
misconnection of His love.
Okay.
A couple months ago, I was set free from condemnation,
Mhm.
being hard on myself, beating myself up, being self critical,
Mhm.
um, and self forgiveness. I really had to do some work to let that go and really give that to the Lord. And what He showed me was I really didn't believe that He loved me. That really set me free of both of those things, to realize that no, He loves me. I am loved by God. I am special to Him. I am worthy of when He died on the cross for me. I was worthy. That makes me worthy alone. So that missing piece, and I also learned that also that missing piece that regarding the rejection,
Mhm.
the condemnation.
Mhm.
I have learned that it is possibly one missing piece of why a lot of us we don't see God as Lord.
Mhm.
especially God as Father. Now, my father had never been in my life. It's some traumatic things that happened with me regarding my father.
Mhm.
Um, and I know that played a big role in my life too. When I was a teenager, I was very promiscuous. I grew up in a family that I felt loved, but my mother, she's deceased now, but she had a lot of mental health issues going on. And I
Mhm.
felt as though as I got older, I didn't really understand what love was, yes, but
Yeah.
I didn't feel that protection,
Yeah.
that education, that teaching. And because my father wasn't there, I realized I was projecting all my issues on God.
Yeah.
I can't see him as God the Father if I think that he was going to come at me and condemn me and be self critical to me. And that was a missing piece too. Like, I can't go to God and call him Lord. That's some intimate stuff. I wasn't ready for that,
Yeah.
but we project so much of what we going through with the Lord. And I think that is a huge missing piece.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. You said something, and I think a lot of people need to hear that. You said you thought that you weren't worthy, and you had to realize that you were, and that Jesus' whole purpose was to die on that cross for our sins, because he
Yeah.
know we weren't perfect, and he know we weren't worthy, but he loved us so much, right? And a lot
Yeah.
of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. I think I've even struggled with that at some point in my life. I realized, he, even in all my imperfections, he still loves me. So I
Yeah.
must be worthy. Because he loves everybody. He loves all. And I think, how do you how do you help other women or people in general see that for themselves?
Yeah. Um, what helped me was the question that he asked me, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
That I think I want to call it a double-edged sword, but like a two-faced of like, okay, I didn't know myself, but I didn't know who God saw me as either.
yeah,
It's one thing I don't know who I am, but if I realize who He sees me as, then
mm-hmm,
that's a huge hope. Yeah, it'd take me to a process of, do I really believe even what he said? Do I really believe that he would take care of me?
yeah,
That I'm more worth than sparrows? But he calls me a masterpiece. A masterpiece. In Genesis in the beginning, he formed the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I was formed in his image. He
mm-hmm,
took time with me, and he took time for you, and he
mm-hmm,
took time for all of us to do that. He knows every single hair on our head. And I like to say, not only our hair, but all of our body, because we have hair on our bodies, we have hair different places on our body. He knows
mm-hmm,
everyone.
mm-hmm.
How does he know us so intimately? For Jesus to come and experience what he experienced in his ministry, he also knows what rejection is. He
Yeah,
also knows what backbiting is. He also, he was stabbed in his back many a times. People did not believe him. People that actually seen the miraculous thing that he did, you still not
yeah,
going to believe?
yeah,
My boys, y'all been hanging with me.
yeah,
You still got a disconnect? We
mm-hmm,
ate together. We prayed together. I asked you to have my back. He before he even got on that cross, he was beaten to a pulp. No one could even recognize him.
mm-hmm.
For me,
So he
for
could,
me, for my nonsense,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
my disobedience, for me, for my insecurities, and he knew all of that.
yeah,
He knew all of that.
yeah,
And that's so beautiful to even experience, and even to share with people. It's nothing that you will ever do. It's nothing that you have ever done. Any trauma, anything that ever happened to you, he knows. And I know a
mm-hmm,
lot of many times, especially the work of trauma, because I also did some work as a therapist.
mm-hmm,
Trauma causes us to look in,
yeah,
right? And I also like to tell people that, we are not what happened to us,
mm-hmm,
right? We are not to take that in as an identity, right? We ought to learn how to separate the two.
yeah.
right? We are not a disorder. We are not a diagnosis. We may be an individual who is suffering or who is going through and having that diagnosis, but
Mm-hmm.
that is not our identity. Our identity is in the Father and His love for us.
Absolutely.
So even going through that crushing process of dying to self to realize, like, yeah, you are worthy of love. I
Yeah.
don't care who told you. I don't care what friends. I don't care ex. I don't care the enemy himself. No, you are worthy of love from the
Absolutely.
Father. It's there regardless, but
Yep.
He just wants us to accept it.
Exactly.
You know.
Yep. So what are some of the things that you do through or you're offering through Reclaiming Your Voice Ministry?
Yeah, so again, like I mentioned, we are written audio and video ministry, which means on my website, www.reclaimingyourvoice.com. The your is actually the letter U and R.com.
Mm-hmm.
I have a blog there. I do some audio messaging that I call Seeds of Encouragement. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
2-3 minute, this little blurb of just some quick encouragement for the week for you. And Reclaiming Your Voice is also a YouTube channel under the same name, and I do some things on social media. My Instagram handle again is Reclaiming Your Voice, and just a lot of encouragement and building women up to everything basically what I talked about. And also, too, presently I am working on an online course. And the other part of Reclaiming Your Voice regarding what I've experienced too is who are you? Is that a lot of us, we don't know what our core values are, and our core values are so important. I know, like online, you see a lot. Like if you was to Google it, you see like what's the organization's core values, but we have our own.
Mm-hmm.
What do we believe? What things give us drive? What things make us just want to get up in the morning or whenever and just do life and do the thing? What motivates us? So the name of the online course is called The Four Core Pillars, where I talk about core values, core needs, core behaviors, and core faith. And it's going to be with a lot of this audio and some homework and some worksheets because we are going to do the work, right? To
Yeah.
know who we are at our core and know and get to learn what does the Lord say about us too. And the course, I'm really excited about it. Only God knew, like, I'm actually making a course,
Mm-hmm.
and that's exciting too. And it's going to be a 2-part course,
Mm-hmm.
meaning, so it's a 16-week course, it's online, and the person can let's just do it on their own for the 16 weeks, or they can choose to work with me once a week, and we'll go over the material together. And one part of it that I really do like is that on the 4th week of every month, you get to go out and do the work that we did that week. So
Okay.
every week from the core values, and the next week, next month is all
Mm-hmm.
about core needs. You're going to bring those core values with the core needs, and then it's going to add on to the 3rd month. That's going to be about core values, and then the last one, but not least, is core faith, because core faith, the reason why it's kind of like on the bottom is that this is the foundation
Yeah.
of, again, going back to who are you? Who are you at your core? Right? Because you can do all the things, you can have all the beliefs, but what is your foundation? When life get crazy, what are you standing on? What are
Yeah.
you really going to believe in? What are your non-negotiables? What are you willing to compromise on? What are your needs? Not people that may place those needs on you, but what are your own needs? What are your own desires? What do you enjoy? Do you know what you like? Do you
Yeah.
know what you don't like? What are you willing to compromise? What are you willing to be like, nope, this is it. I'm not changing my mind for nothing or no one.
Mm-hmm.
And also with the core behaviors, because a lot of what we go through, it comes out on our behaviors and it affects how we see ourselves in the world. So there are a lot of core behaviors that we have to do the work to begin the process of healing. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us go be like, why do I do this? Why am I so frustrated? Why do I keep going this same cycle over and over and over again? How are you presenting yourself? How are you seeing yourself? Because
Right.
those things will come out and represent itself, and it will also block you of knowing who you are in Christ. So It is still in the process, but what I do have available, I'm offering as a free gift for everyone. It's
Okay.
week one, session one. So that's basically the foundation of getting to know what your core values and your core needs are. And at the end of that gift, you can
Mm-hmm.
just say, "Hey, I want to get to know more about this." You can just email me. It's a form there. So once the course is ready to go, you can just jump right in. So yeah, that's a free gift for now until the course is completely done, and I am so excited about that. So yeah,
Good. Well, congratulations. That's
thank you, thank
welcome.
you.
So, where do you see Reclaiming Your Voice Ministries 5 years from
I see it as a talk show.
now? Okay.
I see it as a talk show, like going beyond the podcast, like a talk show for people to come on and just talk about how they have reclaimed their voice, the traumas and things that they have overcome with the Lord, and this testimony and giving God glory. That's why I see like the whole thing, the whole background, the set, like all of it, men and women. Let's uplift the name of the Lord. Let's talk about not just on some platforms and make it seem like being a believer and God is easy. It's not.
No,
It's not.
no, it's not at
It's not.
all.
And I believe a lot of us need to really have those talks and those conversations. What does it look like for you when God tells you no and you're like, oh man, what does it really look like? How do you act that out? How do we believe in what he say? Do we stand on his word? Do we rest? All these things, I would love for people to come forth and just tell their story of what God has done, and so we can uplift the name of Jesus to everywhere. That's one thing I said. I see myself doing more speaking engagements. I would
Mhm.
love to do that. The course, the four core pillars course, I one of the things I want to do with it is to take it to um, transitional housing programs to reach the homeless, to be a program for a substance abuse population, to be a program for especially teenagers. They
Yeah,
go through so much that
yeah,
it's a huge thing, right? So for that program to even expand on those other areas and those communities, yes, absolutely. I have my a book. It's not out. I'm
hmm,
looking for a publisher to publish it, but the manuscript is done. It's a memoir of my life, of all the things and how I go through my own um, layers of coming out of my comfort zone and
hmm,
coming out of the layer, the blanket of comfort is what I call it. All those particular layers is all of my stuff, all of the good, all of the bad, and I want to bring that out to the world too. So I'm excited of how far reclaiming your voice would be. So
yeah.
yeah, that's the plan in 5 years.
That's good. That's good. I can see you. You know how TD Jakes had the "Woman Thou Art Loose," and now his brother has "A Woman Evolved." I can
Yes,
see your reclaiming your voice ministries being something like that,
yes.
and the different things that you talk about, the different pillars and your core values and all of those different parts that you hit on. I could see that being spread across maybe a like a weekend conference or something like that. Just an
I
idea.
receive it. I receive it. I receive it. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's the kind of feeling that I get. But that's wonderful, Vernica. Thank you for being on our show today and sharing your story and sharing your ministry with everyone. Before I let you go, once again, please let everyone know how they can follow you on your social media handles and your contact information.
Yes, thank you so much. It was so fun coming on. Thank you so much. So yeah, you can connect with me on the webpage at www. The reclaiming your voice, and again, that's reclaiming you are voice.com. My social media, my Facebook is my name, Vernica Williams. You'll see my face there because it's a lot of Vernica Williams. Who knew? And my Instagram page is written straight across, Reclaiming Your Voice. And I will share the link to the course so you can experience and receive the free gift. I will share that link to be used. And yeah, that's all. That's all the places of Reclaiming Your Voice. Oh, and also the YouTube channel with the same name, Reclaiming Your Voice.
Your voice. I'm just putting it in our comment section so everybody can see it. Good. All right, Bernice. So once again, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I want everybody, y'all, make sure you guys follow Bernice Williams in this journey, and I hope you've gained something. I hope you learned something. I hope you've been blessed by this interview. And if you feel led to reach out, reach out. I encourage you to do so. Until then, make sure you all continue to follow Total Praise Radio by following us on Facebook at Total Praise Radio. Join the group. We got a Total Praise Radio group, and it's for everybody to come in, to share, to uplift, so inspirational, motivational, of course, our business owners and things like that. Join the group. Join the group. Um, Also, listen to Total Praise Radio by going to www.totalentradio.com and click on that Total Praise Radio button. Until next time, everybody, I am your host, Miss Kayla, and we are signing out. Peace. Good. What's going to be a delay?